Okay, guys, this is an important video. I'm going to be relating and proving and showing the power of sharing and speaking the truth, our truth. It is so powerful. It's a part of your healing. It's a huge part. You will make leaps and bounds in your healing. You will heal things in you that have been hurting for decades. You will be able to open and widen your perspective. You will unleash the burden of the guilt, shame, gaslighting, narcissistic abuse, etc., that is laid on you by getting your story out. And so this is the first comment. I'm going to read from a couple different comments here real quick. And it's just to show you the power of sharing and what it means and what it does. The fact that you being courageous and honest and taking that step, that personal responsibility, and sharing your shit in order for you to heal, it touches other people. So this is a comment left 4 days ago on Jennifer's story of childhood trauma and abuse. If you guys haven't watched that video, I suggest you go watch that video. She's a subscriber. She left me a comment on a different video. I asked her if I could share it. She gives a little bit of her childhood and her story going through her teens and how it affected her whole life. She's in her 40s now. I'm not going to read my comment. I left her comment thanking her there underneath that video for allowing me to share. But again, that video is called Jennifer's Story of Childhood Trauma and Abuse. On this, that video was posted 4 or 5, 6 days ago, something like that. She responded back. Now listen to how this touched her by sharing and opening up and being courageous. She said, "Hey Richard, I thank you so much for doing this video. I actually cried a couple of times when I watched it the first time through. It's like your validation that what I experienced was indeed abuse freed me from the torment." Let me read that again. It's like your validation that what I experienced was indeed abuse freed me from the torment so many others projected upon me by saying that it wasn't, and then proceeded to abuse me in the same way. Okay, so sharing our story ends this cycle because it makes it real to you. It allows you to see and get other people's validation, that almost like people who are thinking critically and not judging the situation. I don't know this woman. I don't know anybody she knows. I don't even know where she lives. Nothing. So it allows you to get an outsider's perspective, to share openly and honestly your air your dirty laundry, and then get a what word am I looking for? Get a response back of somebody who, well, what do you think? What's going on here? What is happening? It's almost like the denial of the abuse. It's almost like the denial of the situation is worse than the actual abuse. What's that saying about people who stand by and do nothing about abuse are almost worse than the abusers themselves? I thought because I wasn't being physically or sexually abused, which I realize now that both of those things also happened to me, but I was so brainwashed and suffering from Stockholm Syndrome that my abusers convinced me everything and anything done to me was justified. Okay? So much to unpack here. So the people around you that are denying your abuse, just like with my family, my mom's the one who abused me, but everybody else, my mom was going behind my back, and everybody else was agreeing with her, calling me crazy, and that, in a liar and whatever else they were saying, I don't know, but and then siding with my mom, who was a horrendous abuser. So it makes you feel crazy. It makes you feel like your story is. That's why we hold on to our stories and don't share them. And that's why it's so important to share them, to get them out of you and get away from those toxic people. Because when you get around other people, survivors, see, we're not victims, we are survivors. And so by being survivors, we have to take personal responsibility, be disciplined, be courageous, and honest. Okay? So she didn't even realize that the physical abuse and in the sexual abuse until because she had Stockholm syndrome and her abusers were telling her, you deserve this has got to happen, and it becomes normalized, especially in a young child. And this can happen in anybody. Again, this is all how the brain works. The brain can't deal with that, so it creates alter egos. Okay, and that is how we got put into our ego in the first place instead of being in soul our whole lives. It was only if the same things happened to someone else or my abusers themselves that those things became wrong. I'm just supposed to put up with it and never complain. The complaining is the problem, not their abusive nature. That what I was experiencing wasn't actual abuse. In abuse, guys, again, abuse is the definition of abuse is to misuse. That's simple. Anything other than compassion, empathy, honesty, integrity towards another soul is abuse. And the thing is that we live in these survival systems. They put us into these survival systems because the goal of these survival systems is to drive us. The number one goal is to drive a wedge between, is to stop us from exercising our humanity, which, because in the way they do that is putting us in survival systems. And so what that creates is the ego and puts the soul in the back seat. So they're putting their goal is in everything they give us, all the entertainment, eating billions of animals a year and telling us, oh, it's so good, everybody's doing it. They've been doing it since the beginning of time with this false history they give us. It's all to separate us by consuming dead animals in the consent of the abuse, torture, forced impregnation, and everything else of these animals, billions and billions and billions and billions every year for your taste buds, in the lie that is for your nutrition and you have to have meat. It's all a lie. Everything they do is to put a wedge between you and your humanity. A human is either an apex predator, which we've gone over this, which means there should be nothing against you doing whatever it takes to be top dog, period. If a human is an apex predator, that's the way it is. Well, Richard, we need law. Yeah, we're apex predators, but we need laws, in order to live. Well, how's that? That doesn't make sense. None of that makes sense. Then why would you even follow laws? Then if you're an apex predator, you would have to behave accordingly. No, guys, it's all a lie. We are human. We are souls in a human body, and our duty is to take care of this human body. And instead of doing that, they take us away from our soul's responsibility. That's why the soul's in the back seat, because the ego has no problem poisoning this avatar. The ego has no problem destroying this avatar. The ego has no problem. The ego thinks about today, and today is it. It doesn't matter if it has a 10-year plan. It still will satisfy all its desires now. Whenever I went to tell someone what was happening, they always lashed out at me because in their mind, whatever they had went through was always worse. Terrible. And a lot of times these people would call me an abusive bully. So they turning around on her. Because this is what I'm talking about. And this is after she's already given me, I already did the video on her story, and she's filling in blanks to let it's even worse. The little nuances of this and the psychological fuckery of this is so bad. Her next sentence is, it's insanity. This whole experience that is called life has been quite a wild ride. I also want to add what our parents and later our partners have done is actually Munchausen by proxy. This isn't talked about a lot. But if someone convinces you that you have a mental problem your whole life for trying to find a voice for the abuse you're subjected to, and then they say to everyone else, oh, Jennifer has mental problems, they are actually the ones who caused those problems and then garnered the attention because of those problems all throughout the victim's life. She's exactly right. Exactly right. These people are sick, disgusting, unhealed people. And again, are they are they demon possessed? Do they not have souls? Are they clones? Are they NPCs? I don't know. All I know is through my humanity and my empathy, I cannot be going around looking at everybody like, oh my God, nobody's got a fucking soul. They're all fucking demons. I'm surrounded by demons. That'll drive you fucking nuts. No, you got to understand, like, in order to understand this better, I had to do my healing and then look back and go, oh my God, look at all the abuse and trauma I propagated throughout my life. And then you realize we're living in these sick, fucking disgusting systems, and everybody's operating on dog-to-dog survival skills. And that's what everybody's doing. And we're all going against what it means to be human, and we're all confused, and we're all trying to figure this out. I am in no way defending rapists, murderers, child molesters. I'm just saying we have to take personal responsibility and understand if we are name, numbering, and cataloging our own children into slavery systems when they are born, and then proceeding to imbue them with slavery doctrine and these types of mindsets, how is that any better than just killing them and getting rid of them? So it's better to torture them and put them through a life of suffering and fear and lack and desire and worry and all of the confusion and subject them to all kinds of abuse. That's okay, but it's not okay to kill them. I mean, this doesn't make any sense, guys. Let's at least make sense of this. Let's think critically about this. Let's not be afraid to talk about these things. Because that's how they get us, is by making these things not acceptable to talk about. They were actually the ones, yes. So how they project, and then they create the victim, and then they go to everybody else and say, look at this crazy person, look what I got to deal with, and then it's all about them, right? I think it was you who might have said something like, it's like breaking someone's legs and then acting like it's their fault when they can't walk. Again, thank you so much, and I love you too. Okay, so this is somebody I don't even know that shared her story. I shared her story on the video, Jennifer's story of childhood trauma and abuse. Please check it out. Please give her thumbs up on her messages. Give her words of support. Let her know there's other people out there that are support her and have empathy towards her. And then, so this shows like how much that meant, like her taking that step and sharing. And I hope it inspires others to share as well. Because I will dedicate videos to you guys. I will dedicate. You are worth it. If you are here and you've been through a life of abuse, suffering, trauma, you've dealt with mental issues and depression and anxiety, and you've been called crazy your whole life, and every time you try to talk, people tell you shut the fuck up and you're stupid and you're ignorant and you're a liar and you're a manipulator and you're a fabricator. You need to get these stories out, and this is a safe space to do that. And that's the thing, we've never had, nobody's provided you with a safe space. Nobody. And your healing cannot take off until you get that validation from other humans who are in touch with their soul and connected with their soul that can give you validation. Okay, and then so the story I did yesterday on peanut butter pancakes, she had left me a message talking about her husband, how he's having problems going to work, how he's, they got to be in their late 40s, if not 50s, maybe even 60s. I don't know. I don't know these people. I don't know everything about them. I just know enough that I'm sharing their stories and their struggles and like the confusion. Like, I'm not lazy. I've been working my whole life, but I can't do it anymore. Something's going on. And it's, like I said, it's that soul knocking. So I shared peanut butter pancake story of her and her husband. And it was called Personal Story from Subscriber, relating how the abusive systems, I don't have the rest of the title there, but it was posted yesterday. She says, oh, my husband just remembered something again. His mother called the cops on him because he was fighting her to not go to school. A police officer came to the house and threw my husband up against the wall in his home for not going to school. And so in her video, I was talking about how, supposedly our parents love us, but they're sitting there and they don't love us. They are literally in survival mode and doing what they have to comply with the state. That is it. They gave birth to us not because they love us, not because they had the world prepared for us. That way we wouldn't get abused and have to go through trauma and all these other things. They gave birth to us because for completely selfish reasons. I don't care what your parents told you. They gave birth to you for completely selfish reasons and brought you into a hell that they were unprepared for. His mom called the cops on him because he wanted to go to school, and the police officer came into his house at a young age, which was like 15, and abused him, threw him against the wall, right? He was a teenager at the time, about 15 or 16. His mother then felt guilty. So she's the whole cause of this. She's supposed to be the one who protects him. That is her only fucking job. Failed miserably. Then she feels guilty for that, for calling the cops on him, getting him abused by the cops, right, at 15 years old. So she felt guilty for that happening and caved and let him not go to school. He's always had traumatic experiences in school, so have I. We were both bullied in school, and both were belittled for not getting good grades like the other kids. I remember my mother shaming me for not being an honor roll student. She would name the top 5 in my class and say, "Why can't you be like them?" Thank you for helping both my husband and I to bring these horrific memories and experiences to the surface. So that's her response to the video I dedicated to her and her husband. And you can see that it's helping them by sharing your story. It's going to help bring these stories and these horrific memories and experiences to the surface so you can face them and deal with them. You have barriers. Your brain has created barriers and made alter egos to be able to deal with this stuff. Your brain, and the reason you can't recall all these things all the time is because you have another alter ego in there that when you call that alter up, that alter can remember. That alter holds the memories. Your body holds the memories of these things. If you move a certain way and something happens, and then it can release those old memories, those old traumas, those old experiences, guys. This stuff is within us until we address it and heal it and fully process it and get it out of us. It is in us. This is why we have to do these things. Okay, and another comment she left was peanut butter pancakes again on her video. Thank you for the great video. I forgot to mention also the fear of being labeled lazy, like you said. That's a hard one for me and my husband, and for my husband and I. We have feared speaking out about this and receiving that label. Exactly, and that's why this is a safe space. And that's why this is a safe space, because you go your whole life just surrounded by so-called friends, so-called family, so-called good neighbors, so-called church leaders, so-called all of these things, and everybody's denying, and you feel scared to say these things, but yet you can say them to a complete stranger on the internet who you have no clue who they are, and then finally make a breakthrough late in life and be able to start healing from these things. This is this is so incredibly important, guys. I can't even stress it enough. If you are on the fence about sharing your story, I'm doing this video specifically for you, so that way it will give you the courage and insight to see that you need to fucking share this. That way you can start healing and make a breakthrough in your life. So that way you can start healing from depression and anxiety and all these other things. Pete Gerlach also has a video on laziness and how it's due to trauma, guilt, and shame. It just perpetuates the already existing guilt and shame when somebody calls you lazy. It's like a vicious, never-ending cycle. Exactly. It is a cycle, is exactly what it is. And I've responded to both of those messages she left, but I'm not, and Jennifer's message on the other video, but I'm not reading my replies. I'm just replying in real time here. So on the same video here, Sue today, subscriber Sue left this message. So not only did Peanut Butter Pancakes telling her story, her video dedicated to her, helped her and her husband get even more insight and help them propel them further into their healing. But it's also helped the subscriber named Sue. Now listen to this. This is Sue sharing on the same video because after watching the video, it touched her. And she said, oh shit, maybe I should talk. We're not put here on earth to live this way, are we? It's unnatural. I remember when I first started working and all through my 20s, I used to question all of this about this shit work system ritual, the rat race. I hated working. I never had a job I liked. I was only young, and I used to think there must be more to life than this, and why was I born into this crap? Come on, guys. These are things we all think. Start sharing this shit. Start talking about it. And see, the thing is, by sharing here, hopefully it'll give you the strength to start telling, these words coming out. Instead of when somebody says, how's you doing? The people that's the same thing you guys say to each other. How you doing? Oh, great. How are you? Oh, great. The weather's cold outside. Yeah, weather's cold. And now maybe you can start having some real conversations with people and get these conversations sparked once you heal these things inside of you and you know that you're not crazy. You'll gain that confidence and that courage, and that you'll see, oh my gosh, why am I so afraid to speak the truth? And I used to think there's more to life than this, and why was I born into this crap? I used to think to myself that my life was passing me by, working in the slave system from 16-year-old. I'm not at old age yet. She stressed that. Getting up at the crack of dawn, getting home at 6 p.m., earning a shit wage which never stretched very far, and used to think, why do we have to work 5 days and only have 2 days off? Why wasn't it set up the other way around? Disgusting. But obviously now I know why. Then luckily I stopped working for 20 odd years and have recently gone back, and oh my God. So she quit working, thankfully. I mean, she got lucky. Yeah. She quit working for 20 years. So whatever fortune ran across her in her life, oh man, I hope she was enjoying that. And have recently gone back, and oh my God, it's like I'm back in my 20s again. Like I've never been away, and literally nothing's changed in that world. It's still shit, and everything in me doesn't want to go there every day. But it's the money side. It's the money side, isn't it? I have to go to survive, like millions of us. It's crap. I really do feel sorry for school kids. I passed them. Okay, so hold on. Let's go back to that. It's shit, and everything in me doesn't want to go every day, but it's the money side, isn't it? And guys, that's why with this healing, a big part of this healing is detaching from all the materialism, detaching from all the consumerism, getting rid of all your monthly subscriptions, realizing that the $200 a month you're paying for all your video channels and all your online channels and all your entertainment, you got to quit those subscriptions, because the less money that you have going out, the less money you have to make. Start focusing on yourself. Turn off that goddamn TV, turn off all that horse shit, and start focusing that attention on you. You'll spend less money, and you are going to start healing. And these are the solutions, guys. And that's what I'm saying. You're not just sharing your story and then, oh, now I can go back to my job, everything's okay. No, we are going to be actively making changes in our life. And by getting rid of all the things that we don't need, and see, like you might think, oh, well, I need this, isn't it? All the processed food, all the cooked food, get rid of all of it. And then all of a sudden you realize you don't need cooking oils, you don't need pans, you don't need to spend money on water to wash dishes, you don't need all this stuff. It's all superfluous. It's all part of the enslavement, every single bit of it. That's why this healing's so powerful. And sharing is so powerful, because it starts making you think critically and deeper and getting to the root of things, instead of just always sitting there on the top level of things and just being like, oh, back to work, gotta do this, gotta make that money, gotta slave away, gotta have that car, gotta have that phone bill, gotta have the 5,000 channels I have on my TV, gotta do this, and blah, blah, blah. No, it doesn't have to be like that. There is another way. We just cannot process how that way works until we start transitioning out of this slavery. in every aspect. It's not just, like I said, it's not just the child healing. It's not just the diet. It's not just taking care of your physical avatar. It's taking care of your mental health. It's learning how to, it's remembering and learning how to utilize the faculties of your mind, how reasoning actually works, thinking through a problem and then acting accordingly, not just going, oh, everything's fucked up, just still go to work, I'm just waiting for the end of it all, waiting to die, waiting for Jesus to come back and save me, waiting to hit the lottery, waiting for no, that's stupid. That is slavery thing, guys. We are going to take responsibility, be disciplined, courageous, and honest, and think critically and take care of our shit. We are going to align our thoughts, words, actions. We are going to live in truth, fact, and reality, and we're going to quit consuming and being mindless consumers and partakers of breads and circuses that are all there intentionally to keep us enslaved. I really do feel sorry for school kids. I pass them on the road and I pity them going to the slave school every day, and they're just at the beginning of this vile system. Very sad. I think I will read my response to that real quick. I said, Sue, thank you for sharing. So important we share these things we have thought our whole lives, and we're never given the safe space to talk of them without being ridiculed, scorned, called names, bullied, etc. I would imagine this is how 95% of humanity feels, but again, it's so taboo to speak out against the systems of slavery that we instead talk about celebrities, sports stars, politics, and anything else that is fake and has nothing to do with our mental or physical well-being. And again, that's all on purpose. These are all systems and constructs of control, guys. It's all on purpose. And that's why physically acting by telling your story is breaking that cycle of control. There is so much here in your comment that is so deep. I'm going to do a video of Peanut Butter Cookie's comment where she reacts to the power of her getting her story out here, and I will be reading your comment in there as well. Thank you for being courageous and honest and sharing. This outward display of venting is so powerful and inspires and encourages others. That is how we connect. Take care. She responded back, hi, Richard, you're welcome. That was a really good video you did, by the way. I feel sad for the way they were treated. I agree. It really is a slave life we live, isn't it? But like you say, they give us all celebrities and all the other distractions to keep us down and no clue. Well, for the majority of the population. You were saying about sensitive people. I am 100 that person, and thank God I am. In my younger days, people would say to me, oh, you're too sensitive, like it was a bad thing. And I was made to feel a bit ashamed of it, like it was a flaw in my personality, and I shouldn't be like that. I should be tougher and don't take things to heart. Just forget it. Move on. Now I'm proud of it. At least I have feelings and compassion. I'll look forward to your videos. They're so interesting. Take care. And I responded back. This was all in the past couple hours that we've had this conversation. I said, yes, what an abusive, toxic system we are in, that it's normal to not be sensitive to the hate, anger, confusion, lies, manipulations, game playing, backstabbing, survival, dog eat dog, etc. way of thinking. These are hurt people separated from their soul, as that all comes from survival mechanisms of the ego. Billions of hurt, scared children walking around in adult bodies. No accountability, empathy, compassion, because those things are not conducive to slavery systems. Thanks for sharing. Enjoy your day. So, again, guys, the whole purpose of this video was to show the absolute power of sharing your story. I encourage and implore you to share yours. I will dedicate video to you. You'll finally get it out there, and hopefully, this will give people, I really hope, this is hard for people to share. I mean, these people are in they're like my age and older, they're in their late 40s or older, and, haven't been able to share these things. And it is allowing them to heal, guys. You guys can heal, but you have to take the step. You have to be courageous and at least tell your story and get it out there, and then get validation that you aren't crazy, that you aren't a liar, that you aren't a manipulator. Because by sharing these things, what do these people have to gain? What do they have to gain? Why would they share this stuff? Why would they do that? They're not looking for attention. They're not, I barely have anybody watching these videos. They're not looking for attention. They're not trying to get on a grand stage. They're not trying to get their name out there. They're anonymously looking to heal and looking for help and reaching out, and they're getting it. And you can get it too. If you take that step and be courageous and share your shit, you can get it too. And hopefully you guys will start realizing that by responding and leaving messages at the bottom of these for these people gives them, they're already getting what they need, but it allows other people to see that we're all out there, we're all connecting, and on a deep level, not some stupid level, not somebody going, oh, I love that song too. Oh yeah, that brings me back to the 80s and the nostalgia of fucking, not having cell phones. And no, not stupid shit like that. It was never better. With or without cell phones, we were still enslaved. We were still traumatized. We were still abused. We have to end this, and we have to take the step. So just remember, guys, take care of yourself. Nobody else will.